appreciate being here. I'm actually half in a tuxedo. The shirt's going to change because I have to go to the Chamber of Commerce dinner at Terrace on the Park, which is after this, and then to the Emerald Society dinner. It's their 50th anniversary, Ricardo's in Astoria. So I have to master by location at some point, and it's just not happening. As you heard in my bio, my family has been a part of the city of New York for 5 generations. We have always served the city. My great-great-granduncle actually was a city alderman, which was the post that preceded the council of the city of New York before the merger in 1894. My family lost Lieutenant Vincent Halloran that day. Vinny was a great guy who loved the fire department. Most of my 127 first and second cousins served either in the police department, the fire department, the FBI, or the district attorney's office. In fact, 65% of them did. I did, but then I had to start paying off law school loans, and I left for private practice. Vinny left behind a wife, 5 children, and a baby on the way. His youngest daughter was born 6 months after he passed away, and to this day, the Halloran family continues to sacrifice for the city. My brother Patrick, also a lieutenant in the fire department, was just moved to the war room, the operations center of the fire department in the city of New York, because he's no longer fit for duty. His lungs have about 25% capacity lost. His esophagus and the cilia on the inside of the lining of his throat are almost completely eaten away. And fortunately, he came out of the towers that day, but the towers didn't come out of him. And many of our families experienced the same things. I'll be a little political for a moment. Back in February, everyone praised the Zadroga bill. Said what a great thing it was, and the Dems pushed real hard to get it passed. And everybody made a big deal about it. Well, I and about 5 other legislators throughout the state of New York, and only 5, stood up and said, this is ridiculous. It doesn't work. It's not going to cover cancer. It's not going to cover asbestosis and the related lung and throat diseases that our firefighters were getting then. Well, guess what? People realized that about 4 weeks ago. And now there's a push in Congress to amend the bill. But if they would have listened in the beginning, we wouldn't be here now. And in fact, 80% of the firefighters and police officers who have these illnesses had them present at the time the bill was passed. And everybody knew that. Everybody in the medical industry knew it. And everybody in politics knew it. And it's just a shame that what they did was create a false image for all of you that they were passing a bill to take care of our first responders, when in fact they weren't. I had a wonderful time working with the crew on this film. Brought them into my office, got to spend some time with them. Of course, Congressman Mike Grimm and I are very close. He's a great guy from Staten Island who, when he had his first fundraiser, no one knew who he was. They knew he was the first responder. And you'll see him here. You'll see the family members, many of whom have graced us with their presence, and from time to time make it around the city to tell people they can't forget. Well, I'm here tonight taking time out of my schedule for one reason and one reason only. I don't want any of you to forget. Amen. I don't want us to ever go down the road of saying this generation does not know what happened on September of 2001. The way many school children today don't know what happened on December 7th, 1941. I had a very disturbing experience yesterday, and I want to share it with you. I had a young scout come in to see me to get his sign-off on his first class requirement that he meet with a local elected official to discuss the Constitution. After about 15 minutes of conversation, he couldn't tell me how many amendments there were in the Bill of Rights. He couldn't tell me what the preamble of the Constitution was. Couldn't tell me what the rights themselves were in the Bill of Rights. Then I asked him what happened on September 11th, 2001. He said it was a national tragedy. I said, well, what happened? Something about planes. Now, this is a Boy Scout. Someone who's actually has a family interested in preserving civic mindedness. Somebody who's in an upper middle class neighborhood in Whitestone, in Queens, where the median income is something like $120,000. People of reasonable means, people with the gumption to send their kids to scouting, though that's not generally considered in vogue. And yet this young soon-to-be first-class scout, about 12 years old, couldn't tell me what his rights were under the Bill of Rights, and only the vagaries of what their school had taught them September 11th meant. September 11th was an attack on the United States of America because we're a nation of the people, by the people, and for the people, with enumerated rights not given to us by our government, but protected by our Constitution. So, I want all of you, as you leave here tonight, to make a commitment to our young people, to educate, to inform, and to keep alive the memory of those towers and what they stand for. They don't stand for a political issue. They don't stand for a social issue. They don't stand for a religious issue. They stand for a human issue. And that is, we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. And among those rights are life, liberty, and the ability to pursue, not to achieve, to pursue happiness. And the sooner we remember that it is the pursuit that we're entitled to and not the goal, we'll get off our asses and do something. So thank you for being here, and thank you for your commitment to